Chick Chat. We're back with Sister Wives, season 19, episode 13, 14. We don't know.
It's all blending together, and rumor has it we're just barely over halfway through. We have a long ways to go here, Chick Chatters. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming back. We start this episode off with Cody taking his shy, pretty wife on a date.
I can finally have her to myself. It was so weird. How did they start us off like that? Like, what a vibe.
I don't know. I understand the reasoning of starting off all the scenes and then letting them play out throughout the episode. Mm-hmm. That makes sense to me. Totally fine. But they really had some weird cuts on a lot of these scenes where they would transition back and forth. It would be mid-conversation sometimes. I feel like we just got into the idea that we're going to end up back at Josephine's, the modern American bistro, and then like, bam, we're at a taco place with Christine. It moved really quickly, and then it felt very disjointed. But I'm not an editor. I don't know.
The modern American bistro.
The modern American bistro that is in the most quaint cottage I've ever seen. What is modern about that place? Or really American? It looks like a little Dutch house.
It just looks like a little house.
A little Dutch cottage.
Just a random middle-class house to me.
Yeah, it should be like the Dutch non-modern fare.
This thing should be called the house restaurant. You're in someone's house. It really feels like that.
It does.
It's someone's like 4-bedroom house.
I'm sure maybe that they have them upstairs all the time in that little attic just to give them some privacy and room for the production and stuff to film. But maybe it's more modern in the regular dining room.
I don't see nothing modern about that. Feels very like 2004 to me.
It is very 2004. But I feel like there was an attempt to make the room look a little bit different than it did when we were in there last, when Janelle was in there. There was a couple different plants, or maybe it's just because the season has passed, but we were definitely in the same room.
Same bones, but different skin.
Yeah. So we have that scene get set up. We also have the Christine engagement party with my favorite, birria tacos set up. So I'm all about that.
I thought it was fascinating how Janelle was flabbergasted that Christine's wearing white more often. I'm like, she's a bride and she's doing bridal things. Like, yeah, girl.
Janelle is so nonchalant sometimes to the point where I wonder if she does it on purpose. I can't understand Janelle sometimes. She presents herself as so put together and smart and logical, and then she just doesn't seem to be with it all the time.
Well, he always does mention when we talk about dresses, she's like, I wore a green dress. So maybe she just doesn't realize white's a thing.
Maybe she doesn't. Yeah, she just doesn't get it. but yeah, she's happy to be there. She flew all the way in for the day. She showed up in her pink dress. Apparently, Christine requested this dress on Janelle.
Must have.
I think
it's excited to see it.
She was. As soon as she walked in the door, she was pointing at Janelle.
They probably FaceTimed about what they were going to wear or something.
Probably, yeah.
This is where we learned Christine has a backup dress. In case she spills something, because everyone is going to assume she's going to spill something, which I'm the same exact way. I can't wear white very often. I spill stuff on me all the time.
It doesn't really matter the color. I mean, obviously white is harder to get out of it, but when you're eating birria tacos with consomme, I mean, like she said, it's beef broth that has oils in it. Meat has been cooked in it with fat. It doesn't matter what color you're wearing. It's going to be a grease stain. Janelle came in clutch with the Tide to Go pen. Christine was very angry that she was being betted against. Did it seem this way to you? I felt like she was grumpy in this little snippet of her confessional.
She wanted to prove that she wasn't going to get nothing on her. And then she got something on her within 5 seconds.
Maybe that's why, just because she had to sit there and be wrong. But it just seemed real salty.
And she got told on, too. She thought she was going to be able to get it out real quick before David got there. But then her own kid told on her.
Yeah, she made some comparisons between McKelty and David and that they're kind of similar people, but I think they're all kind of similar people, the three of them.
They just all like to joke around and have fun.
I'm marrying my daughter. It's great. We've seen all the wedding things happen. And again, not that I'm not happy for her, but I think at this point, we all know that this is sort of like pushed in here. The whole David and Christine storyline, I feel like it's just being pushed on us now because there's so much that was filmed that they're not showing us when it comes to Garrison and everything. So I don't know, it's cute and everything, but it's all the same gathering. It's a wedding dress shopping, a cake tasting, an engagement party, or whatever. It's all the same people talking about the same thing, how fast it is, and blah, 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 blah. So it's cute, but there's not a lot here to cover.
We find out that they're 9 months in. So we have jumped a little bit in time because I know they marry, 10, 11 months in. So the wedding's got to be coming up pretty soon.
So that would mean that we're getting to probably around August at this point. Yeah.
Look at them. And they were kind of funny cutting this cake. She's like, all this effort was made into making this cake. I think it's just like a scan or something. I don't think it's really that hard to do. For the photocopy ones, I don't know. I think you have to have just like a certain machine or something. But
It's probably just edible paper, right? That you print and dissolves into the cake. I don't know. Maybe
I think so. I think it is like that.
No, I don't.
She's like, all this work. And I'm like, I mean, that was a little bit of work, but that's okay.
It was probably about as much work as making a cake. I don't think there was extra work done to etch their faces into it.
No, they weren't like formed into the cake. And either way, it's meant to be eaten. They know it's going to be cut into. It's not like the photo people are like, oh man, my hard work of Christine and David.
What I did notice here too on the second or third rewatch is truly here, she is just obsessed. She wants to be right in there. She wants to see them eat the cake.
She got a front row seat, that's for sure.
She's always right behind them. And I think that this is a good sign. If a teenager or a kid was really stressed out about what was going on, I think they'd probably be in the background somewhere, likely pouting. So the fact that she's just all up in it, almost eating the damn cake herself, I think that says a lot about how she feels about the situation.
I think it was funny that they took a piece right out the middle of the cake and just like took their fork, like didn't even really get the piece out first or anything. They just kind of dug their fork.
It was mostly just like frosting. They just kind of did a little dip, which is funny because we learned last episode during the cake tasting that David doesn't even really like frosting. So that was an act of love on his part.
It was just to eat each other's mouths.
These two cannot miss an opportunity to make a dirty joke or something like that. And I think that that's great for them because Christine was such a prude before. And now she's getting tattoos, talking about naked cakes, lingerie. Those words wouldn't even come out of her mouth before. She couldn't even bear the thought of a toaster.
Not even a toaster.
Now she's living in a modern home, making out in front of her child, the bald man. Let this woman have cake. She deserves it.
Mm-hmm. Let them eat cake.
So Meri and Jen visit Vegas. Jen and Meri met in Vegas, so Meri is a little bit confused as to why Jen is so resistant to being in that area, but I guess a lot of it has to do with the heat. She does not do well when she's hot, so she brought her chi-chi chillers, which I thought was a magnificent idea. They are eye masks, the kind that you put in the refrigerator or the freezer, and she brought them to put on her chi-chis.
Oh, so did she move to be closer to Meri?
I don't know. Or did Meri move to be closer to her?
Because they moved to Parowan, right? They must live close to Meri if she's always around now. I wonder where Jen lives. She must be semi-close. Well, maybe Chick Chatter knows.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you know where Jen lives.
But not anywhere south of the Nevada border.
Equator.
Definitely not in the equator, but probably more Utah and vertically that area, Colorado. I doubt she lives that far away from Meri, but okay. So they're gonna visit Vegas. They're gonna go to Brandy's house and talk a bunch of crap about Kody.
They had this nice conversation, the three of them, about the end of Meri's marriage and how crazy Kody's been.
Some weird cheating confusion going on here.
And sound bites.
Yeah, so Anne found a sound bite. She wasn't sure if she could hear somebody mumble something about cheating. I wasn't sure if it was maybe, just kind of like a phrase that people use, you know what I mean, or something like that. But something was mumbled under someone's breath that we couldn't quite figure out. But this part was also brought up, and it was shortly after that we heard the mumbling. So I really don't know. I don't even know what they're really referring to in this, all the cheating.
I don't know who could have been cheating because Kody was openly in a 4-way marriage.
Maybe because these two are monogamous, maybe they see the way that Robyn entered the family as cheating because she, was kissing him and stuff like that. I wonder if that's what they're seeing. I have no idea. But I just couldn't see how, one, Kody wouldn't have time to cheat on anybody after he married his 4th wife. That was a lot. And he's on TV. I just truly don't think he would want to or would have time to. So it'd have to be about Robyn, unless he was cheating on the OG3 back in the day, which no. unless he was courting a bunch of women, but it had to have had something to do with that. It can't be anything in the last 20 years.
I don't know. Or do they mean Meri cheating with the catfish and everything? I don't know. Who's cheating? I don't understand who could possibly be cheating in this situation. Because Cody's in a 4-way marriage. Maybe about how he acquired Robyn.
I wonder. That I feel like that would just be the most likely scenario. If I was Meri's friend, I would probably raise my eyebrow at how that happened. I mean, even in this episode, at Josephine's, they talk about meeting in a church or something. I thought that they met at a dance with Meri. So what's this weird gaze?
Well, the dance happened after the church. They think they originally did see each other at church.
Is that the whole cheating? They have this gaze and then they planned to meet each other on Robyn's cousin's front yard and then they decided to go to this dance together. I mean, was it more orchestrated than...
So, if I'm remembering right, because I don't have the book in front of me, but they saw each other at church.
She got her lightning bolt.
Yeah, she had her little lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Your little moment.
Robyn acted as if, at least in the scene, that it was kind of a chance encounter that she just happened upon Meri and Kody after they had this gaze like several months later on her cousin's front yard.
I don't remember which happens first, but I do know that there's a meeting with Robyn and her sister and all that at the Browns where she actually meets the whole family just like platonically.
Right.
And then there's another time where she runs into Meri and Kody at a Mormon dance.
Right. So I wonder if what they could be referring to here is the coincidental times that Robyn kept showing up places before she was really accepted. I don't know. Like, I have no idea.
It's crazy though, because Meri was all for it. It was like Robyn was their little secret.
Well, she says that now, but Meri's story changes.
You're right.
I don't know. This family is confusing, and how someone could be cheating on top of all of this, unless it was Meri's catfish, which I don't think that's what they're talking about in here.
And when they tried to explain the cheating thing, it didn't make no sense to me. So I was like, oh, okay, this feels very incomplete.
But yeah, well, I kind of just moved on from it. But then when I was getting ready, I'm like, maybe they're thinking about Robyn. Maybe as monogamists who don't kind of think of how courting starts. In order to start courting, you have to at least have an interest, I'm sure. And that it's going to make anyone raise an eyebrow when you're a married, committed person.
This comes up later, but Kody does mention at some point when he had his little moment with Robyn that he was like, oh, that's so inappropriate. Like, she's married or whatever. And it's like, sir, you were married.
Yeah, so Kody has had some willingness, at least within the church, to be semi-inappropriate. Not that a gaze is actually inappropriate, but I can understand in their church how they see those things that way. So anyways, I mean, this was just an interesting little blip in that part of the conversation. I just think it's odd how cheating could come up. Anyways, we go back to Josephine's.
This whole church conversation, I feel like I've heard it over and over again. I guess the main thing that I got out of it is that Cody's low-key traumatized by all this church. He called his church basically low-key a cult. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Several times over, he called his church a cult. Even last episode, he was getting close to calling his church a cult when he was saying he wouldn't really know how he'd feel about any of his kids being within plural marriage. But what I at least learned for the first time is that the church wanted Kody to cut his hair and that was such a big deal to him.
That's what sent this man over.
It is. This is what sent the man over the damn edge, is that they wanted him to cut his hair. And so he wouldn't take a religious leadership role or whatever. At the same time, they went public and the family kind of, all chimed in unanimously about how that was not good for their standing and position in the church either.
Well, it also made him go public about his feelings right now. He's like, unless the law or God told me to do it, I ain't doing it.
I mean, that really triggered him. He just went on and on. You're all disciples of blah, blah, blah who had long hair and a beard. True. Which, if that's all true, then, more power to Kody. That's facts and that's facts.
It is facts, I think.
Yeah.
I think everybody back in the day kind of had long hair and beards and stuff like that.
There's a lot of cultural attachments to people's hairs. But that's the thing is, the world always kind of shifts and people's opinions change. And now I think a lot of religions are shifting about outward appearance types of things. But for Kody, his hair was where he drew the damn line. He doesn't want a church telling his daughters what to do with their hair, what to do with their love, what to do with their life, unless they're choosing that to have a relationship with God, which he does approve of.
It wasn't being miserable in polygamy for 30 years that made him turn on his church. It was the fact that they wanted him to cut his hair.
I know. Crazy.
I mean, that's what I got out of it. That's my alleged. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, they do talk about it so romantically, him and Robyn, when it comes to the church. Cody does obviously express a lot of his reservations in this conversation, and I think rightfully so. I think he should have a lot of phobias about the church if his stance is truly that he didn't think he should have married all these women, but somehow ended up married to all these women. I would feel scared about being around that as well. But at the same time, you raised your entire family in this church. You accumulated wives who came from this church, whose families came from this church. So for you to be so phobic of it now, I get. But you also cannot be so surprised that some of your family, even if it's not the church that you guys were in, are going to want to be involved in a church.
I just can't get over the fact that these girls are 20, maybe 19, 18. Why is this got to be such a conversation? I want to know what Cody and Robyn would have talked about instead, because he was so excited to get Robyn to himself, to have all these great conversations. What did Cody have in store? I didn't want to talk about this. I want to hear what Cody had in store, not what Robyn had in store. How sad they are.
I know. They're so sad. It's just ridiculous. And they're so pretty. And I hate to say, like, oh, you'd be prettier if you smile, because that's just trash. But they're just gorgeous girls. They have nothing in their lives that is that horribly awful that they should look like this all the time. It is purely and strictly their mother filling their heads, telling them with how much everybody doesn't like them and how alone they are and how the world is blah, 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 that makes their faces look like this. There's nothing wrong with their lives. They live in a $2 million house. They're going to college. They have a 2-parent household, for crying out. Like, what is wrong? What is wrong?
They at least look like something's wrong. That one's Brianna. Aurora's the one with the pout, like the
and even as she's saying this, she's like, well, I talked to my dad about religion. And she, like, puts her chest out like she had to be strong. I'm like, jeez Louise, I don't know what's going on here.
Even the way Robyn approached the religion talk, she was like, I know you get a little intense about this. And it's like, he gets intense about everything. What do you mean?
I'm so glad that we're starting to see more of Cody and Robyn just interacting alone, because I think that this right here, this is a master class in how Robyn pulls Cody in with all these hard conversations. She plays dumb, she plays sweet, she plays, oh, I don't know, why don't you tell me? Even though in the confessional, even she's like, I know how Cody feels about the church. I just have to sit there and go, I know. And then she sits there in front of him. Oh, well, I have a sense that you don't feel very good about the church. I don't know. Maybe, what are you so worried about? Robyn, you just talked to this man at length about his feelings about the church, and yet you still have to tiptoe around what you learned about Cody, because you can never tell Cody about himself or he'll flip the F out. So she's always, I don't know, I think this, but I could be wrong. This is your own family. This is your own husband. These are your own kids. These are your own cultural beliefs that brought this whole damn family together. And you just still don't know. You just still want to play dumb so Cody can play smart.
Isn't it like keep sweet or whatever? Isn't that what it's called?
Yes, that's what it is. This is a masterclass in Robyn being sweet.
And then you got this that's intensely like, tell me about your first time looking at me.
Yeah.
I mean, he did.
When they're at Josephine's, Robyn wants to clarify, even though Cody is trying to get out of the conversation. He's all, is there anything else we need to clean up in our relationship? And Robyn just wants to go back to, are we or are we not allowed to go to church? And he finally clarifies that he's okay with it, and even that he might want to participate in it, which shocks Robyn. She looks so excited to hear that. And then he lets her know it's because, God forbid, I send you off to church to look like a goddamn single mother and have some other man pining after you. Yeah, how possessive can this man be? And he thinks that this is flirtatious, because this is what leads them into the lightning bolt conversation about how God was my wingman and all of this and blah, blah, blah. And so how could you ever go to another church with your children and have the same experience?
God, Meri, same thing.
God is a woman.
You ask Ariana Grande your favorite person, she is.
Meri Brown. Jesus Christ, Meri Brown. But if you look at this man's face when he talks about Robyn, he's in love. He is smitten. He is beyond satisfied to have Robyn all to himself.
Him the whole episode was making me weirdly low-key uncomfortable because he was like relishing it the whole episode. Yeah. He was like a predator that got his prey like salvaging at the mouth.
Really?
Like, I might get to take her out. And it's like, you guys live together. Yes, you get to be alone sometimes. You only have 2 kind of young kids. I mean, they're all grade school age at least. So you have some hours of the day. Neither of you are employed. You guys have at least 7 hours of the day where you get to be alone, or you could go out and have lunch or something like that.
Honestly. He said some weird predator stuff too about like, fending the lion den or something about. Did you catch that?
Oh man. Yeah. He was weird today.
I want to say something.
He was weird on this day in the house restaurant. He got real intense here.
He did.
And he feels this way about Robyn because he was a married man prowling around looking at Robyn like.
I know. It was this strange possessive flirtation. And Robyn was just eating it up.
She loves it.
She can't stand it. She just says, ew, Kody, possess me. You don't have to force me to wear this ring. Like, how gross is their flirting? It's just gross.
The way she was like, lightning bolt went through me. Okay.
In her face, talking about the lightning bolt. It's just, they are just
shot through my body.
If anything, they are in love. Okay. Nobody can deny that. This is true and honest, dumb, lightning struck love.
This is definitely a form of it.
Oh man. So speaking of the giggles, we're probably done here at Josephine's. We can move back over to Meri and her friends.
I would love to see them have more dinners though. I just wish they would have talked about whatever else they could have talked about other than that like whole kid religion thing.
I wish to.
So many other things going on. The land. I'd love to hear them talk about Janelle or something like that. But maybe we'll get another dinner.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
We got like a little bit of their quote unquote love story, and we got a little color into some of their dynamics. So I hope that we just keep going because we're seeing so much more expansion on Meri's life and Christine's life. And I think we were going to see a lot more expansion on Janelle's life had they not cut everything related to Garrison out of this season. So why aren't we getting a big expansion of Kody's life?
I don't know. We always get just a bunch of regurgitated bullcrap, honestly.
Right.
It's like they don't understand they've had a show that's been going on for about 20 damn seasons. We don't have to repeat the same things over and over again. They could include these things, but I don't know. We usually get a bunch of replays.
Yeah, I have heard rumors that this season initially was supposed to feature Kody trying to mend his relationship with a lot of Janelle's kids, including Garrison, and that it actually featured Garrison pretty heavily. So maybe that's why we're not getting as much of those two characters, right? Like Janelle, we're not getting a lot of her, and Kody, we're not really getting a lot of him on his own. So I wonder if that's because they cut so much of it out. But either way, it's been a lot of Meri and Christine this season.
It has been a lot of Meri and Christine.
And we're back with her too. And she was annoying to me this episode. I like watching her move away from Kody, come into her own, all of that. I like the truth telling that's happening, but it's almost like she holds herself higher than thou. I have watched the 3 of them, meaning Janelle, Christine, and Kody, act, what did she say? She's not impressed. Okay.
It's like, I'm not really impressed by any of you. You stayed forever.
Had the luxury of sitting around for the last, 7 or 8 years, whatever you and Kody have decided, to grieve your marriage. So you've already done all the kicking and screaming on your own, and I get it. Nobody cared. Nobody listened, whatever. But you did some things. You went and catfished. You went and talked to people. You had your moment already. So why are you sitting here judging everybody else and acting all holier than thou when you are literally on a parade of friend to friend to friend that we have never met to just feed them enough information for them to talk shit about Kody? And then you come back in your confessionals and you're like, I'm not sure if it was Stockholm Syndrome. I'm not sure if I necessarily believe that. But you do, because how could your friends be saying this if you're not telling them this stuff for them to say out loud?
True.
Meri, get it together.
Get it together, Meri. Yeah. You don't 100% know what's going on in their marriages, too, if you're priding yourself on not involving yourself in people's marriages. So how do you know what these people are doing amongst themselves, other than the show?
Right.
So watch the show, I'm sure, but you should also know the show is just a glimpse into everything. So
Yeah.
Who's to say? I thought it was kind of weird and petty too, but I think Meri was just angry as hell in that interview. That was like her angry interview.
Yep, she called him a dumbass.
Yeah, they're all
I mean,
reminiscing. But the thing
yeah,
is for the last 3 episodes, she's been talking about the same thing. This happened episodes ago now at this point.
that's what I mean. She's taking us on a friend parade of just reminiscing on her relationship and letting other people talk crap about Cody, and then going into her confessionals and saying, I don't know if I necessarily believe that part, but okay. You're feeding all these people this information so that they can come and agree with you. But yeah, I think what was probably the funniest part of this conversation, the part that made Jen want to throw her glass through the wall.
Mhm.
I guess I don't know why they didn't show us this before, because we saw the flashback of it. It looked like it was that day that Cody came over to help move the furniture, not to help move Meri, but when he came over to help, I think, Cross-eyed Man and his wife get the furniture out of the house. They had that conversation that they were breaking up, and they told Cross-eyed Man. I think this is when Cody apparently came to Meri and said, I think we needed to have another conversation about our breakup without Robyn. And you could see the relief in Meri's eyes. She's like, oh, yeah, of course, because she was thinking they needed to talk to each other without a third party involved. But no, he continues on to say, boy, that really broke that poor girl. That was so hard on Robyn. How insensitive can Cody be?
Poor Robyn.
Poor Robyn.
And then Mary's moment was just like, okay.
Okay.
Well, what can you say to that?
That's a choose your battles kind of moment. When somebody says something completely that far left when you think it's going to go right, you just have to say, okay, you're not going to find a way back to the center.
He's so hyper focused on Robyn's feelings.
He is. Not even his own feelings.
He's like, I'm glad we can talk about this away from her, because I think we should.
Because it's going to really hurt her.
It's going to hurt her. It's wrecking her.
Which I believe him. I mean,
we saw it. Her hostage video on Christmas Eve.
The hostage video on Christmas Eve, the strange way she came in sobbing during the move, even just the flashback. I forgot how much she really lost her shit at Coyote Pass during the breakup conversation. I don't think that was fake. She was going to have a panic attack.
She was making noises.
She couldn't catch her breath. She was having a hard time.
Her voice was trembling.
Everyone sits on the couch and they wonder why in the hell Cody is so damn stupid. And that's what we've all been wondering for so long. So these two, out of the parade of friends that we've seen the last couple of episodes, and I think we're going to see another parade of friends next episode with Meri, but these two are my favorite. Obviously, Jen is the top of the top, but I think Brandy's also a pretty good truth teller, and she just seems really authentic. I think Meri needs a couple people in her life that are going to just tell it like it is, and also to do it on camera, because I think these two are the voice of the nation, especially with this quote.
Did you get a photo of Meri's knees?
So I tried to, but the closed captioning kept coming on.
I don't know, but I just noticed that Meri's knees were
completely wrecked.
This woman's either doing gardening or home improvement or something all day, because her knees are just wrecked. I don't think she's doing anything else. But I understand now why the Vegas people do have the gate. I think you're right, is because the Browns be showing up all the time. It seems
This
like
is
now
like the
everybody.
Fourth time this season. I guess I have this one. This is not even close to how wrecked her knees were.
No, they definitely look bruised before.
They were.
But yeah, they go to stare at the cul-de-sac. Yeah.
Yeah. And no wonder she's feeling anxious. At this point, it's dark. They have cameras on, which means there's lights on the cameras. There's lights all around these gates that you can see back here. So I would feel anxious as well. They clearly don't want people around. That's what a gated community is for. Get out. Stay away.
Yeah. And every now and then it seems like these people are showing up. So now they're just over there just staring at it for a minute. And then
wouldn't you hate to be the house just outside the gate? Where they're just standing here, like there's a house directly behind them that you could see their windows.
You're like, yeah, I bought this new house a couple years ago, but the owners come by every year to look at it.
Old owners come by like ghosts in the night to check it out. They can't even look at it. They can't even look at the house. And if they were even close enough to truly be able to see the houses, the camera would zoom in on the houses. You can't. It's all the way down the street that way.
And y'all can't tell me that Cody and Meri are not one and the same, because they both did the same thing in the same season. Let us watch it. Just a couple episodes apart. We got to watch them look at the house in the cul-de-sac.
I find it telling that Janelle is the only one that hasn't gone back, because I keep giving Janelle crap about either not getting a release or kind of not really having this hard conversation with Kody like Meri did and like Christine did. But thinking about the cul-de-sac and how everybody has returned there all nostalgically when they're having their weak moments and whatever. And Janelle, she's just the type that once she decides in her head that she's done, she is really just done. So I guess she doesn't need a release.
Meri's one and only time.
Meri said she'd been there before. Meri lived there longer than everyone else because Meri didn't move to Flagstaff until I think it was 3 or 6 months afterwards. She tried to, but then when she moved in, the neighbors called the police on the polygamists and she had to go back to Las Vegas for several months, like until the house is sold. So Meri was there for the longest time too. And she comes back to Vegas a lot to visit her friends. It's probably better, honestly, than going to stand in front of this gate.
Well, she just kind of weirdly walks away from it, like, all right, I'm done. I'm beyond that.
This was so teenage, angsty. It was like they were visiting, their boyfriend's house, watching their boyfriend make out with their friend. And whatever, girls, we're done here.
It felt like it was an acted out scene almost, like producer driven.
Cool, it's whatever, but I'm so beyond it. Just didn't give adult actually over it. It's so funny.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. It was very like clueless of her.
Yeah.
As F. Let's go.
I know. And before she was walking backwards, just talking. It's cool. It's whatever. I'm good. I'm just so beyond it. Turns around.
So beyond it. We all are beyond it, I think, at this point.
Yeah, so they go back to Brandy's house for pizza and ice cream, and Meri talks about how I guess they had a conversation where if she had to choose between Brandy's family or Jen's family to join, she would choose Brandy's family because I think there's young kiddos in the house. I think that's what she said.
No,
I thought that. You think she is picking this guy?
Yeah.
He is a silver fox, that guy.
I was like, nah, that ain't why.
I mean, much better hair than Kody.
At least to me, that ain't why, but yeah, he had.
Much better hair. Oh, hello.
Oh, wow.
Do you think Meri's on Ozempic?
What a question. With what a photo. I don't know. She possibly could have even had diabetes, though, so I don't know. Who knows what the conditions are? I am no doctor.
Me neither.
I can't speculate, but
I
think she's also in her 50s.
Yeah, but
she's been through it.
She has. And that's pretty much where she leaves us. She done been through it. Got married one time, but somehow got divorced 2 times.
I thought that was amazing. What a revelation.
I thought that was too, and somehow she seems to have some strange pride in it, that she's an anomaly. Go off, Meri.
What a way to leave us off, Meri. Open your eyes a little. You wouldn't be.
You'd be looking like me, Meri. Oh, man. So
what do we got next time?
We have a wedding dress fitting. Meri's going to destroy something with some other parade of friends, probably while talking crap about Kody. It looks like a little decoration or something. And Robyn's going to take the girls to church, and there is going to be, I think, an overarching discussion about the way the family feels about Robyn, and Robyn feeling gaslit. And I would like to burn the word gaslighting out of 2025.
You never can.
Never can, and you never will.
It's culture now. Everyone is being gaslit.
I think we heard that word at least 3 times in this episode, if not 4 to 5.
So many times by so many different individuals.
Yes.
Some of them are really dealing with it. With Kody. Kody really is gaslighting some people.
Cody's gaslighting his damn self.
I'm just saying, some of it is happening, but
I think Kody is gaslighting himself and himself only. And as a result of that, everyone else is rightfully confused.
As am I. As am I. Well, Chick Chat, we're going to catch you on the next one.
Just a FYI to all of you Sister Wives watchers, if you watch it on the day that it comes out, apparently they're skipping Sunday this week, but they're releasing an episode on Christmas Day on the 25th. I don't know why they're doing that, and suggested maybe they think that they are little presents for us, but I don't think I'll be watching on Christmas Day. But I think we will be covering it in our regular schedule. Possible that the week after, either Anne will be here solo, or we'll be covering both episodes after I get back from a vacation, or we'll just skip one. So
yeah,
prepare for turbulence.
I also think that they just feel like everybody's gonna be sitting at home for Christmas, that they are gonna be watching Sister Wives. This is the one day a year everybody's forced to sit at home. So if they ain't watching Sister Wives, when they could be watching Sister Wives, this is their day to track their data.
Yeah, I think they're losing viewership because, like, I get that this is their, like, TLC's most popular show, but how, with this kind of content, the slow drip, drip, drip of wedding things and Meri going over the same thing for the last 3 episodes, how is this the most popular show on TLC?
Because they haven't been making Match Me Abroad anymore. They haven't been doing what they're supposed to be doing with other shows.
Go off, Miss Ann. All right, chick chatters.
Remember to like, subscribe, hit the share button, copy the link, whatever.
Whatever. But actually do that.
And then reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and goodbye.
Bye-bye. Don't forget your coochie coolers.